Hello, Jeremiah here with you again. We're going to do a little bit of work on one-piece flow versus batch this morning. So, starting with our bench arms, we have 2 carts full of parts for bench arms, which used to be handy. We used to glue our bench arms together. We found out that was unnecessary extra process, so we took out that process, which sped up making the bench arms ready for the CNC a lot quicker. We also used to have our sauna shop in a different area, in a different shop altogether, and we used to have to do batches for them. So all our Kanban cards say 12 and 12, and I think they used to say more than that. So yeah, we have all these parts here sitting, waiting, and we have more parts over in bench assembly area, waiting. And then the biggest issue that I ran into on the CNC is, or the first issue I ran into, is if I needed to run one part, we had these massive jigs. I don't have them anymore, so I can't really show you, but they're at least that wide and at least that tall and a big square, and you'd have to fight to set up the machine. You'd have to plug in 2 hoses down there, put it on, get it sucked down, get the part sucked down. And it was a huge hassle, especially if you only needed 1 or 2 parts. If you needed a left and a right, you had to set up both sides of the machine. It was a huge hassle. So I figured out a way to run it without the jigs. And that saved so much setup time, so much headache of just having to worry about it. The next big issue that we ran into was having the Kanbans filled when they needed to be filled. So we'd have our Kanbans down in the bench. I don't want to walk all the way down there, but way down there in the bench assembly area. And they had Kanbans like up here where it was 12 sets and 12 sets. So every time they'd get down to a certain point, I'd have to come up here and run 12 sets. And that's really rough when you're trying to do everything else that needs to go through the walls, the staves, all the little parts, the barge boards, everything else that needs to go through for a sauna. It's really hard to stop for half a day to fill Kanbans because we also have vents, and now we're doing headrests, and it's great and our product looks amazing, but stopping to fill Kanbans was becoming an issue. So what I've been working on is going down to one-piece flow, doing bench arms, headrests, vents, and handles for one-piece flow. Now we still will have some buffer here, and we will have some buffer down there, and we will have some buffer in crating for all the parts that are needed in specific areas in case somebody just needs one, something broke or it's bad, and they need a replacement one quick and right away, then they have it. And we'll have Kanbans with, instead of large quantities, where they're small quantities and they don't take long to run. So I've been working on this process for probably 2 months now. I changed the handles a little bit so that they're easier to sand, and I changed the way things are run. So now, per sauna, this is for a cabin sauna. I don't have it named. I just made up a file or a quick list for it. So a cabin sauna gets 2 sets Nope, that should be 3. So that'll add an extra 4 minutes. So that gets 3 sets of 21-inch bench arms, 1 set of 31-inch bench arms, 1 small and large handle, 2 headrests, and 2 vents. Our vent program is set to run 2 vents on the same piece. So that'll be, oh, I think that updated. Either way, it's about a half an hour per sauna of extra little parts. Now, with the one-piece flow, working that half an hour into a sauna, into one sauna as it's going through, is a lot easier than stopping for half a day to fill out kanbans, to fill up kanbans. Because I don't have a half a day. Nobody on the CNC, if anybody else is running it, they don't have a half a day to stop and fill kanbans. And then kanbans get low, and the material gets low and unused, and it's just becomes a mess because you're rushing around looking for parts, and you need more parts, and everybody needs parts, and then you gotta stop and make them anyways. So with the one-piece flow, I've noticed a huge difference for me personally on when I'm running the CNC, to be able to just run the parts as they're needed, as they go through with the sauna, and know that I have some down there. If I don't have a chance, if the sauna's just got to go through and they need the cart right away, I don't have a chance to just do, for example, the headrest right away. I know I can stop once I'm caught up again. I can stop and run those 2 headrests and fill that back up right away back there. I'm talking with my hands because that's what I do. But batch work versus one-piece flow, I guess there's the saying, flow where you can, pull where you can't. So this has been a huge improvement to the quality of my life doing one-piece flow, and I think it's worth sharing, and it's worth getting out there that simple things. And it really brought out the struggles of why we weren't doing it before. It was a struggle to get the jigs on. It was a struggle to run the parts, because I was the same with the vents. I don't have the vent one here anymore either, but it was 3 vents on one piece on a jig. You had to set up the jig, 3 hoses. It's a pain to set up. Pieces would fly off because there wasn't enough suction to them, and it just was a nightmare to do. So figured out a better way to do it. Always improving, always making things better, always making things easier. And just another huge shout out to Mike Folks for giving us the opportunity to make these improvements and work through them and make everything better for ourselves and for the company. All right, I think I've babbled on for enough now, and probably get the idea of how one-piece flow has improved our lives, or my life especially, dramatically here at Folks Industries. Thanks. Have a good day.